Hi, I'm Danica Tormolin, VP of Content for Trade Show News Network and Exhibit News Now. I am joined by Martha Donato today. Hi, Martha.
Hi, Danica.
So, we are going to do a preview of Thrive. Martha Donato is president of MAD Event Management, and she is getting ready to launch Thrive. It is a consumer event that's going to be at the Atlantic City Convention Center, and it's October 14th and 15th. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the launch.
Thanks, Danica, for asking me to join today. I'm really thrilled to see you and to have an opportunity to talk a little bit about Thrive, which is an idea that has been percolating for well over 10 years. So this has been through many different cycles and business plans and activation concepts. It was called Second Life at one point, and it took a long time for us to find the right blend. And that has a lot to do with finding the right venue, the right time of year, the right message that we were trying to convey, and the right voice and tone for the content that we wanted to deliver. And I think as the idea of aging elegantly and gracefully has taken firmer root in our society, it became more clear what we really wanted to do. There's that aha moment for a lot of us when we get that mailing when you're in your late 40s from the association and you're like, oh no, I am nowhere near needing that card, and I don't need to be a member of that organization. And I think that's pretty well established that our generation of 45 to 60, 65, we don't feel old, generally speaking, and we don't want to be considered old, right? And we have active, vibrant lives, and that's where we landed on changing the concept and bringing it to this Thrive concept, which is that you can do a lot, that the second half of your life can be even better than the first half of your life. And if I'm not quite sure on what's available to me or how I might be able to accomplish that, then here are tools, resources, funny stories, like-minded people, fun, vibrant energy. That's what we're putting together.
Excellent. So it is a consumer show, and I definitely do fall into that category. I was looking at your website, doing a little bit of background research, and yeah, so the 45 and up, the late bloomers, and Gen X. Let's talk a little bit quickly about your background. You have
For
experience in
sure.
both B2B and B2C events. So tell us about some of the ones that you've done over your career.
Sure. So I produced my first large-scale consumer show in 1997 in Chicago, and it was 20,000 people, and I'd never even produced an event before. So I dove into the deep end of the pool, and I've been with it and at it ever since then. And I've produced, at last count, I think it was 33 launch events in my career. And they've run the gamut. They've been consumer shows, they've been conferences, they've been trade shows. And this model is a little bit, I'm going to say, I'm calling it a public show, but it has elements that make it hybrid. So we do have some really solid conference elements, and we have some of the more festival type atmosphere here. But at the end of the day, the goal is that we're building a community, that this is a community of like-minded people who come together and who share information and ideas and have some fun. And that's how we're building it out. And I think the key path for us here is Visit Atlantic City gave us support and underwriting to do this project in Atlantic City. It's in the heart of the highest population base in the country, and with easy access to New York City and to Philadelphia, it really felt like the right home for us to do this.
Yeah, it's on the Northeastern corridor. I was also looking at some of the stats that I saw on your website. This particular market representing age group wise, I'm assuming 35% of the nation's population.
Yeah, I know it's crazy, and the spending power is just crazy important to brands. And this is a group that's going to age into a really solid economic benefit to the country. Now I put on my trade show and my B2B hat. There are a lot of groups who are trying to reach this audience, but their message doesn't resonate. And you're not marketing to boomers. You're marketing to a different group. And the ability to influence this group so that they might take a look at your product or your service is really important, that you're authentic and that you are part of the community and that people understand your benefit and your value proposition. And that's what we're offering. So yes, it's a consumer show, and yes, we're going to have all sorts of things to do, but at the back end, and being an event producer, I also understand that we have to make sure that we can continue this by having solid sponsor base, by having solid exhibitor base. And that's a really critical element here. And it gets viewed through the portal of economic development within Visit AC, of course. That's their mission, is to bring people to their city and who will want to stay and who will come back again. So all of those factors taken into consideration lead us to this October 14th, which is less than a month away, but it's come together really well. And could I dive into a couple of the things I'm really excited about?
Yes, I would love it. That was my next question on. I saw some of your speakers. I saw you're going to have Kelsey Grammer there. And some other, authors and their Emmy award winning reporters. And yes, tell us what you're excited about.
Yeah, thank you. You hit the nail on the head there. So Kelsey Grammer, he's been in so many things, but best known for Cheers. And he's coming in to talk about how you can live your best life. And he's got a brewery, so he's going to have a really fun activation zone where you can sample, test his beer, take a taste of his beer. And it's just lighthearted and fun. And he's just very popular. And he's got a show coming out really soon, a new TV show. So that wasn't in the works when we first signed him up. So I'm really excited for him about that. Then we have Michael Clinton. Michael comes from very squarely the B2B publishing side of our industry. He was the publisher of Hearst, and he is still working with Hearst. They're partners to him in a book he wrote called Roar. And Roar is about life layering. And he just did the Mount Everest race recently in his late 60s. And so he's such a fierce advocate for, you can take everything you've built in your life up until this point and you can layer in new things and you can challenge yourself and you can try new things. And here's a path. And so he's delivering a workshop where you can sit and he'll ask you the prompt questions and help you figure out what might be your passion that you have neglected or just literally didn't have time to even think about. Maybe you could pick it up and maybe you could pursue it. And then there's David Burke, the celebrity chef, who's just really fun. I've really enjoyed getting to know him. He's really a great personality. And he's going to talk about how important it is that you are healthy as you age, right? So he's a chef. He loves to cook. He's going to show us how we can cook healthy meals that are quick and easy, but that sustain us and make us healthier in the long run. And he's got such a great spirit. It'll be really fun. And then Gabby Natale, she's got a very passionate following they call themselves the Pioneers. And the Pioneers are very similar as well. It's, how can I make the best of what I have? I've got this base of life experience, but I can add to it. And in fact, she started talking to me today about, I think that the Pioneer lessons can be applied to our teenage and grown children as well. So we as parents can take the elements of this Pioneer spirit and try to help our children navigate very complicated waters, especially post-pandemic. So many are struggling. And so she's got a generational message that I really love, and I think is going to really resonate with the audience. And then there's Bob Sumner, who's the co-founder of Def Jam Comedy. He's going to come in and program a really funny comedy set for us to end the day. So that is something I'm really looking forward to.
So just to summarize, you've got the broad topics that you're going to be covering are health and wellness, financial topics, entertainment and activities, leisure, travel, hobbies, things like that. Right.
Yeah,
Anything that somebody would care about in their free time, right?
yeah, absolutely.
When I was doing some background research, I went ahead and signed up for your community
Thank
to
you.
get notices, and I found that really interesting. So tell me about the community aspect and if you have any numbers that you can share there or anything like that, and how you're going to develop that beyond the show.
Yeah, thanks. I'm really glad you saw that and signed up. So, one of the partners in this is an agency in New Jersey, and their expertise is in developing content for communities. So, it was a natural, right? So, we'll bring together a community of like-minded people in Atlantic City, but it's not natural to make these connections and then not have a long tail of communication with them or connection with them. So, our goal is to create content that would be delivered digitally, and we're even, if call me crazy, but we are even considering a magazine. And that is all designed around how do we maintain and grow a community of people. And that would be through the different sectors, right? You just click them off. Maybe you're deeply interested in talking to other people about long-term care for my parents, or should I put my mom in a long-term care facility? Or maybe you're interested in how can I maintain, I've been fighting against gravity for years to stay looking myself. And what are the options? Should I try Botox, or what does that look like? And I think there's sometimes a stigma that gets attached to things like that, but there shouldn't be, and there's no need for that. And so hence the idea of a community of people that you can ask questions and collaborate with and meet up with and keep going. There's an arts component to this as well. There are a lot of people who are just really passionate about art and its therapeutic value. Then we've got what we call the Zen Zone, which is spa treatments and relaxation and meditation and all those things that are so important as we're trying to manage stress in our day-to-day lives. And then I would say probably the pillar that ties it all together is lifelong learning. And so we have a really deep connection with the universities in Southern New Jersey, including Stockton University. And the idea that they have courses that run the gamut, you can't even believe. They have a cannabis certification program, or you can learn English as a second language, and anything in between. They have a really vibrant continuing education platform there, as do many of the other universities in this New York metro region, New Jersey region. And that's a really important component too. And the way you keep the community together and building is by offering them access to things like that. And hey, Chad, Danica, did you try out that cannabis certification program? What do you think? Should I give it a try? What was the outcome for you? That sort of collaboration amongst people is really important.
Okay, I can't believe you've done 33 launches. That is really incredible over your career and stressful, I bet.
Yeah, very stressful.
So, what is one takeaway for somebody who might be listening who is considering launching a show? What have you learned over the years?
I probably learned more from my failures than my successes. And I think most of my failures have come at being overconfident that I've actually defined my audience. I would say audience acquisition, for those of us in the business, that's what it's all about. It's really challenging to know who your audience is. What are you building this event for? And that doesn't matter if it's a consumer show or a trade show or a conference. It doesn't matter. You have to know who you're building this show for.
Right.
And when I've gotten that wrong, it's been wrong. It's been a failure. So that's the critical path for me, amongst many other factors, but that's the key one that stands out.
You have a very specific target here, right? How do you acquire that audience? What's been most effective right now?
Right now, the most effective there are two things. It's partnership. It's partnership with other outlets who already have an audience that you think is aligned with yours. In our case, we have media partnerships with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, with the Atlantic City Chamber of Commerce. Visit Atlantic City has supported us in this. News 12, New Jersey, we have a partnership with them. And the other is affiliate agreements. So we have an advisory board, which is quite common with events. And ours is built up of all different members of different sectors of the region, business leaders for the most part. And we've given each one of them tickets to offer to their people.
Mhm.
And that is the most effective because this is a word of mouth business.
Yeah. So some
And
influencers, I'm guessing.
some influence,
Some people who are
yeah,
entrenched in the community, who have deep connections, great to partner with.
partnership. That's the key.
I have one more question for you, and it really sums it up. When you were talking about success and when you've had failures, thank you for sharing a challenge that you've had or failures, because that's how a lot of us learn. But how would you define this as a successful event? What to you on October 16th, what's going to make you feel like, okay, this was a success?
Of course, you can't ignore the financial. That can't be ignored. And I don't want to sound Pollyanna-ish because that's critical, right? I have to at least break even or make a little bit of money to be considered successful. However, what really matters is, did all of our outreach and all of our efforts and all the work we put in result in a really good vibe, good energy? Did people come and say, I'm really glad I got up out of my house today and I went to the Atlantic City Convention Center and I spent my time with this group of people? And when is the next one going to happen? And what does this community that you're building look like? How do I become a part of it? That's success.
Yeah. Great. I wish you so much success. If anybody wants to know more, tell them where to go.
Yeah, you can go to thriv.live and we have everything up there. And thank you, Danica, so much for inviting me on today. I appreciate it. And I hope you can make it.
Yes, me too. It sounds like a perfect event for me. So
Totally.
yeah,
Totally. We'll
yeah.
have a blast.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you so
And
much.
check back with us when the event is over, and be sure to keep us up to date on how it went and all of that.
I would love to.
Can't wait to hear.
Thank you.